Welcome to Studio 39 Design Studio. This is Richmond speaking, your resident architect. In this video, I'm going to be doing a 3D floor plan in ArchiCAD using this 2D floor plan that we did on our previous video. So go check that out to see how we got to this point. Now, with that said, I would like to encourage you guys to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because I'll be doing videos like this every week. So let's just get into it, guys. So as I said, our previous video shows how we got around to doing this 2D floor plan. So now we're trying to do a 3D floor plan using this floor plan right here. I think I said it right, 3D floor plan. First and foremost, for 3D floor plans to work, everything has to be in 3D, and luckily we're using ArchiCAD, so all these elements like the furniture pieces, the sanitary pieces, and the kitchen fittings, the car, and the sofas, the TVs, and all of these things, even the walls, the doors, and the windows are all in 3D. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press F3 on my keyboard, and then we'll go into 3D. As you can see right here, I'm using a perspective view. This is the 3D floor plan. As you can see, you have your car, you have your kitchen fittings, you have your lounging office, you have your bedrooms. You can go ahead and put some fancy beds, but I'm not going to be going through all of that right here. It's really up to you guys to figure that one out, or maybe I'll cover it in a later video. We have our bath, our toilet, our sink, so on and so forth. So the main thing that I want to go ahead right now is I want to fix up the windows. As you can see here on the sanitary side, which is the bath and the toilet, is that I forgot to put in some windows over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a window. Maybe let's make it 1.5 in width, and then inside here the toilet, I'm going to make this one 600, not 6,000, I mean 600. Yes, that's fine with me. And then not really going to go into details about the windows, but let's go ahead and do this. So what I can do is I'm gonna hold down Alt, select one of the windows, and then I'm gonna say Control 8. It's gonna select all the windows in view because I want to sort of like affect them all at the same time. Under the opening type for the mesh, as you can see, when I show the front, it's all side hung. So I want to make this one fixed for now because we're not really going into details with window information like that. So another thing that I want to do is I'm realizing right now that the walls are a bit too high. So luckily, because the walls are too high, are connected to the next floor, I can just go here and on the ground floor and change it to 2.6 instead of 3 meters. So it's going to be 2.6, and then when the floor changes, because it's attached, it's going to change with it. So what I want to do is I want to lower the window height to the 2.8 level. So from the finished floor level, which is this one, I just pressed M to bring into view this sort of like measuring tool, and then along this line I'm gonna press Shift so that it remembers this line, and then I'm gonna go to the window height, which is 2.1, which is 2,100 millimeters. And then the height of the window is fine, which is 1.5, and then the floor to ceiling height is going to be 600, and then the window here, I think I'm gonna make it 1.2 for this one, which means that I'm going to have to add 300, making it 900 over here so that the height is the same. So this window and this window are going to be the same, so I'm going to press Control Alt to affect that also. Another thing here, so let's just turn around to that point, and obviously these windows need to be at the same height. So I'm just gonna Control D, and then I'm gonna hold Shift so that they align. Obviously this one needs to be a bit higher, the one in the kitchen. So I'm assuming around the kitchen, maybe let's make it 1 meter off the ground, which means that the height over here will have to be 1.1. I think that's the right size, and also both of these also maybe will have to go ahead and make them 900 off the ground, and then if they're 900 off the ground, that means that this is going to be 1.2. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that right now. The doors, I see that all these doors are glass doors, so I'm gonna go ahead and select all these doors and try to fix them. So these doors, we are going to go onto not opening angle. So let's just check where door settings and openings. So under door leaf, I'm going to select this style 1, which is just a plain door. Okay, everything else seems to be fine. Maybe I'll take this TV and maybe lift it up just a little bit, and then with that said, I'm going to Control T, open up settings for the TV, and then I'm going to use the picture on screen because right now it's just blank, so that happens. Okay, so now that I've finished the windows and doors and everything else, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the floor plan and add the floors, because right now what we are having is that the floors there are no floor finishes or no floor slabs right now. So I'm gonna go to the floor plan, and then I'm going to select the slab, the floor slab, and then this is currently just a 3D slab as a layer. I think 3D floor, maybe, yeah, 3D floor slab, and then the structure is going to be the basic. So I'm going to be using the basic, and the reference plane is on the top. So that's another thing you need to have a note on. I'm not worried about the height right now because this is not a technical drawing right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and draw using the geometry method, rectangular. So I'm gonna click from one corner to the next corner. Right now it's not showing that it's on the floor, so I'm gonna Control T so that I can go on in here, uncut line pen, and then I'm going to set it as one of these, and then now you can see the outline of the floor slab. So I'm gonna pick one of the edges, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a poly, add to poly. So I'm gonna add from that corner to that corner right there. Yes, that works out just fine for me. Another thing that I want to do, actually, I'm thinking right now I want to exclude the kitchen. So in order to exclude the kitchen, I can just select one of the edges from the kitchen side and offset the edge to where the kitchen starts over here, and then I'm going to extend it also to this point. Another thing is, now that I'm realizing, I want to also extend into the bathroom. So, and another thing, I want to exclude the one for the garage. So what I'm going to do while I have this floor selected, I'm gonna press which is trim. Actually, I want to trim it. So basically I can just click on T, the edge that I want to trim, and then I can either go to the left or the right. So I'm just gonna go to the right, which selects the one on the right, but I still have this floor. So as you can see, when I go to 3D, there's this floor here, and then there's that floor. So let's go ahead and draw another floor for the kitchen area. So it's going to be over here. So another thing that I want to do is I want to extend to over here, because the bath and the kitchen are going to be one floor finish, and then the veranda or the small patio entrance. There you go. So I overshot it over here. So there you go. So over here I want this to be wood, so I'm going to go ahead and surface, and then I'm going to activate the override surfaces, and then I'm going to have this one is just an mahogany, maybe. Yeah, I think mahogany is fine. I'm happy with that. And then also the side, I'm just gonna make it maybe like a white color, which is white gloss, or maybe titanium white. Actually, I'm going to be making it white fine, or maybe white rough, because it's on the outside. And this one here is going to be just to be fair, it's going to be negative 750. And then I'm just gonna raise the bottom so that all these bottom they line up. And for the outside, this is going to be a tile finish, so I'm going to go ahead and make this white rough stucco, and then I'm going to make the top portion to be a tile, so something like a ceramic tile over there. Maybe make the whole thing ceramic tile. So if you want to make the whole thing ceramic tile, you can link the surfaces, so the one on top will take will have the take precedence, and then these columns actually are going to be, they're actually supposed to be 2.1. so right now they are linked to the next floor, so I want to unlink that so that I can just manipulate them manually. So I want them to be 1.2 in height, and then with that said, I'm gonna make sure the height actually starts from this floor slab right here. And I just want to make this sort of like steel, some type of steel finish, so I can just scroll down on the surfaces, and then I'm going to go ahead and select maybe stainless steel. Now maybe let's use just plain steel. Maybe that is maybe metal zinc, just for this is just for the look anyways. I'm not really worried about that right now. Another thing that I want to change, obviously the garage, I'm fine with it being concrete finish, and then the bath, toilet, and the kitchen, I want there to be a tile finish. So obviously on the side is going to be white rough, and then the floor finish is going to be a ceramic tile. So I think that works out just fine for me. Maybe I make this floor finish over here to be oak, so that it's not overpowering. Yeah, you see the contrast between the two is better right now. Now the floor finish is done, and the walls, what I want to do with the walls is I'm going to select the wall, and then Control L, which is going to select all the walls in the view, and then I'm going to go to finishes, and then I'm going to sort of like switch the override functions on, and then I'm gonna link all of them, and then I want them to be quite rough. Yeah, I prefer that. Another thing maybe I would want to do is maybe fix these countertops right here. I want this countertop to be the same as that one, so let me try and fix this one. So this countertop is 50 millimeters in height, and the problem with this one is that it is 50 millimeters in height, but it's because it has a notch on it. So I'm gonna switch it off. Yeah, it's switched off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and change the height. Right now it says it's 30. So in order to fix this, where do I go? Let me just try and figure this one out. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make this one 50, and there you go. The other thing that I would like to do is I would like to make all of these finishes sort of like similar. Yeah, they all changed. and I think I'm fine with that right now. So we've gotten to this point, so now is to cut a plane vertically so that we can sort of like cut through the wall. So there are many ways. What I can do is I can manipulate the walls, but I don't think that's going to work out the way that I want. And another thing is I'm using a perspective, and 3D floor plans are better suited for an isometric, which is this one. That icon, you can say Control F3 if you want to go to that view right here. And then in order to cut a 3D, I'm going to be using the 3D cutaway, which is going to cut using a plane. And obviously I can just switch it on right now, and then obviously on the screen, as you can see, what you get is you get all these cuts. These are scissors at the top, at the top, on the sides, and even at the bottom. And then it's going to indicate which plane are we going to be cutting from. So on the sides, it's going from left to right. So if I click this, I can cut in that direction. So if I click this once again, it's going to disappear. So I want to be cutting from the top, so I'm gonna click that, and then I'm gonna sort of like push it down. And one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to cut the fridge, and maybe I don't want to cut the bedroom cabinets. I think that's an okay one right there. And all right. And then I can have to, you can either cancel it if you don't like what you did, and then you can either click on finalize. So one thing I like is that I did cut through the windows, so that's something. But I'm realizing right now that maybe I want to cut a bit more. No, I don't want that. That's the one I want. I want to cut more into the window frame, which actually is a conflict right now, because the more I go into the window frame, the more it goes into the cabinets. But I think we can manipulate the cabinets right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finalize this, and then I'm gonna click the cabinets, just make them a bit shorter, maybe like I'm gonna make them 2000, which is going to be 12 meters high, and then that's fine with me. Alright, so now I'm gonna choose a perspective. You can go ahead and click on this element here, which is 3D projection settings, or Control Shift F3, and you can choose custom isometry, which is preloaded into ArchiCAD. So you can either select the top view, and then obviously you can adjust the camera settings, or you can go here and adjust the X and Y degrees, and even the Z degrees and everything like that. You can also adjust the date or the altitude of the sun, and also I'm not sure what this is, so I'm not really going to worry about that right now. So you can either choose for the top, and it's going to just go ahead and you can take a picture from the top, or you can choose other ways. You can maybe choose from a 40 degree angle, which this one is called, I'm not sure what this one is called. This is top, this is isometric, this is front isometric, which is something that I wouldn't want to use. This is monometric isometric, and this is demimetric. So there's a lot of things here that you would want to get acquainted with. Sometimes when I want to do elevations, I do use this settings, and then I can always twist in around the model to get all the elevations and render each and every one of them. So sometimes, so for this one, I'm just going to be using the isometric, and I'm happy with the height. Maybe I can make the height a bit more steep, maybe 45 degrees of the sun direction, and you always want the sun to be behind the camera. So as you can see, this is where the camera is, and this is where the sun is behind the camera. So we can go ahead and do this. So that is preset for you. Maybe I want to take a different angle on this one, so I can always go ahead and take the camera and flip it to the other side, and then I can just ensure that I adjust, and then go ahead and do that. As you can see, this is probably the best 3D. Maybe, I don't know, maybe should I go from this angle? So I'm trying to figure out which angle is best. I like this angle because it shows the kitchens, it shows the beds, and it shows the front and the car. So I mean, this one seems better. It shows a little bit of the amenities at the toilet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and this one is better. And I'm gonna make sure that the sun is behind me. So I'm gonna make sure that this one lines up properly. So 30 degrees angle, and then the sun has to come from behind. Maybe just offset to the side just a little bit. Yeah, that works out fine for me. So now, in order to take this image, we are going to go ahead and go to photo rendering settings. So it's going to open up this sort of like dialog right here. There's a lot of things that you need to know. You have settings, but before we start with settings, we're going to go with size. The size here is 800 by 600, so the width is 800, the height is 600, and then it's set its length. So if I change this maybe to 1600, it's going to affect the bottom portion also, right? And then you can also apply a render safe frame, which I really don't want to do right now. And then you can also switch between pixels, millimeters, centimeters, and inches. Right now we can set it at pixels. Unless it's not pixels, then you are going to be able to manipulate the resolution, of which I'm not really worried about right now. And then under settings, you have your scene. You can choose one of the scenes right here. There's more scenes. You can even create your own custom scene, of which basically right now we're pretty much creating our own custom scenes. So I'm leaving it up to you guys to go ahead and check what effects does this create on your renderings and everything like that. So take some time, go ahead and figure out what that will do for you. So right now I'm just going to be using outdoor, daylight, medium. I'm fine with that. And another thing is you can also set up to basic render, scene render, which is what we're going to be using from Maxon. And then you can also render a sketch, but I'm not really going to be doing that right now. And then you can set up qualities. Qualities, you can make it sharp. Let's make it medium for this one. And the shadows, they're going to be medium right now. There's other settings you can set for that. And the lights, under lights you have the sunlight, you have the lights which are sort of like the lamps intensity, and then also the illumination surfaces intensity. That's something that I'm going to go into on a later date. So if you did have lamps, you were going to maybe switch them on by setting them up to 100%. You can also set them up to 200%, but that's not the case right here. Even the sun here is set up to just 100%. Another thing is effects. You can either use a white model. Right now, with the settings that I have right now, let's just go a preview. So here where you see these aerials which are sort of like chasing each other, you can click it and it's going to give you a preview of how the render is really going to come out. So there you go. This is how the render is going to come out. And resolve, I'm not really going to try and resolve that right now. But if you wanted a white model, you can just use a white model. I use white models when I'm doing studies. There you go. You can have a white model like that. And then you can also set up environments. So you can either set up to a physical none or HDRI sky. And then sky intensity, you can set up sky intensity. and then you can either set up the weather presence. If you're doing perspective views, there are a ton of options for clouds and everything like that. So sort of like a background image of your model. You can use the sun, use ArchiCAD sun position, which is something that we want to do right now. I'm gonna click that and see how the rendered image is going to look like. So that's what you get, guys. That's sort of like the rendered image right there. Maybe if I switch off the physical sky, let's see how the background is going to look like. Yeah, that's I think that works out fine for me. The only thing that I'm worried about is that the sun is not showing over here. So I'm going to use the sky, and then I'm going to use a lighter set of weather presence. So really, it's up to you guys to go ahead and go through these settings and figure out what settings you would want for your own render. Yeah, that's a better fit for me. I like that very much. So what you can do once you figure out exactly what you want is you can either click at the bottom the photo render projection, or you can switch this off and click on this which is the same icon, basically this camera icon right here, which is actually the same thing as the previous one, and you just say render. Alright guys, that's it. That's our render right there. It took longer than expected, took approximately 5 minutes, and that is attributed basically to the way that I made my settings. So in order to save this right now, we can just Control S and then maybe save it on the desktop. I'm not really going to go too much into it. I'm just gonna save it on the desktop, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and open it. So yeah, that's the render right there from ArchiCAD. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. That's it from me, Richman. So see you guys on the next video. Love you guys, God bless you, and goodbye.